Well, hey guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm happy to be here tonight with Cynthia and Lady Amethyst. Irma, I'm dying over your name here. It's just cracking me up. Um, so we're gonna get started tonight and maybe finish just a little early. We'll see. But first thing I want to do, just like let's do some recognition. We're just gonna kick it off right there because that is part of the fun, right? Like when we have a good, exciting week, it's fun to get to recognize and share what happens in our week. Cynthia, I'm making you a co-host. Thank you. I
Sure.
realized I was talking. I was like, oh, I'm gonna need help. So, anyway, okay. So if you sold anything at all in your business in the last week, just give me a wave. Arma, just say yay.
Yay.
There you go. Since I know you have little people around you. So,
Yeah.
um, anyway, okay. So congratulations. That's always fun when we sell anything at all, right? Um, Okay, so if we're on the if you sold anything at all, give us a wave. If you sold 100, keep waving. Give me a yay if you did, Irma.
Yay.
Awesome,
Okay,
awesome.
hold on. I did 342. I gotta let
342.
I gotta let my little ones out. Come on,
Okay.
y'all. Let's go.
Well, that's awesome. Anybody sell more than 342 or over 300 in the last week? Hi, Lisa. It's so good to see your face. You're muted.
There we go. Hello.
I need a mug that I can hold up and it just says you're muted. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, awesome. Well, we'll celebrate um, Irma when she gets back from letting whatever it is she's doing. Anyway, so congratulations, Irma, on a great selling week over 342. Um, how about sharing? Anybody share this past week? Share the opportunity about what we get to do? Place that's open, huh? All right. Oh, I forgot. What about faces? Anybody see any faces? Not this past week? All right, well, it's coming. I know it's coming. Um, so I have something kind of different to share with you guys tonight. So hopefully you'll kind of bear with me here. Let me share my screen. Um, this one. All right, should be sharing. Am I sharing with you guys? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. All right, so raise your hand, like I can still see you. So raise your hand if you have ever had a day in your Mary Kay business or life in general, because I think things we talk about in our business are just as applicable to our everyday life, where you just felt like you were on a roller coaster. Anyone? I personally don't care for roller coasters, so when I have those days, yeah, all of us. Um, I don't care for them. So when I have those days, they're not my favorite for sure. Um, but in terms of our business, like it's the kind of day where like 1 minute your phone's blowing up with orders, you're like, what did I even do? This is amazing. You've got tons of things on your books. It's super, everything's full. Like you've got parties lined up and people are coming and you're thinking, yeah, like I got this. I can totally do all of this. And then the next minute, your party cancels. Maybe one of your top team members gets really discouraged, and you can't remember the last time somebody answered your booking text. Anybody? Anybody? Because it cannot just be me. There's no way.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. All right. Um, well, like all of that is totally normal. And that's just the business. That's just like life. And it comes with emotional highs and emotional lows. But here's the secret that kind of separates a confident, consistent um, leader and entrepreneur and business owner from um, a burned out one. And that's emotional compartmentalization. It really can be a superpower. Um, behind building a really thriving business. So I'm sure you've heard this before. Like I know Taryn has said it a million times, so I'm pretty sure you guys have heard this. but you really can't lead anyone else until you lead yourself well, right?
Mhm.
You've heard that before, right? Give me a nod.
Yeah.
I can see
Yes.
you. I can see you. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks for playing. Um, and I have really been reminded of this tremendously in the last 14 days personally. And I know some of you have also as well. And so I just as part of that, part of the last couple of weeks, I've really been more acutely aware of some of the coping strategies that I've learned over the years, and I'm so thankful to Mary Kay for teaching them to me. And so because they've really helped to create some calm in the storm for me personally. And so tonight I want to share some of those secrets of like how to actually grow your own superpower of emotional compartmentalization. Sound good?
Mhm.
Okay. So what does it really mean? It's a fancy phrase for something that's really, really powerful. It is your ability to set your emotions aside temporarily. Keyword, temporarily, so that you can stay focused on your purpose. It doesn't mean you stop feeling things. I mean, we're not robots, right? It just means that you decide when to deal with those emotions. Like you get to decide. I think sometimes we forget that we actually get to decide when we're going to feel something. We don't have to just go with the emotional roller coaster. We don't have to get on the ride all the time. Um, so I want you to think about your Mary Kay organizer bag, like your starter kit bag. Even if it's been a minute since you've looked at it, everything has its own section, right? Like you have it somewhat organized. You don't throw your lipstick, your brushes, and your paperwork all in one pile. Well, okay, maybe when you're leaving the party, you do. But but going to the party, you have like your mirrors are all organized, your brushes are all, you've got your clean bag and your empty dirty bag, right? For your all your brush. You it's all organized. It's neat. It's tidy. It's compartmentalized. And that's what compartmentalization does in your mind. It keeps things in their place so that you don't dump frustration on top of your confidence. Because I'm going to tell you, when you do, or when I do, because this is not just like this is all of us, when we dump our frustration on top of our confidence, it erodes that confidence. And so if you're striving to be that level 10 confidence and you're trying to grow into that, and then you get frustrated and that covers all that confidence up, you're maybe, maybe you're hanging out really well at level 8 and then that frustration comes in and it knocks it all the way back down to a 2. Okay,
Mhm.
that stinks, right? So having a way to prevent that from happening is pretty awesome. So we want to keep our frustrations in the right pocket. Okay. So why it really matters in Mary Kay. So last week I shared kind of some of the strategies that I used to make sure that I had um, bookings that would hold for my open house, right? I incentivized the things I wanted my customers to do like schedule on my calendar and they got something for that. And showing up at the date and time that they originally scheduled, they got something for that, right? I incentivized them. And so, how do you think I knew to do that? It came from all the years I didn't. And all the times that I had a ton of people say, yeah, I'll try and swing by. Because I hadn't set a specific time and date. I just gave them a wide window and said, come on by. I wasn't clear in what I was asking for. And so I have definitely had those times, and I still have people who cancel on me, don't get me wrong. But I just wanted to kind of go back and repeat, like I really was very intentional about creating that. It wasn't like, oh, well, of course that happened for her. No, I was very intentional to make sure that people knew what was in it for them for being a person of their word. So, um, you know, so why all of this matters for our business now? Like we're in a relationship business, right? And so with relationships, those emotions come hand in hand, and our business is extra because we're women. So we get extra emotions, especially when we get to be certain ages. Hormones are fun, aren't they? Okay. That leads back to another conversation from last week, too. Anyway, but seriously, like in our business, you're going to hear the word no or ghosting more than you ever hear the word yes from your customers, right? That's why we get excited. That's why like nothing happens until somebody sells something. That's why it's so exciting. I remember that you had a $342 week last week. That's amazing, right? So like we're gonna hear no more than we hear yes. And sometimes no sounds like crickets. We're gonna pour into people who might not stay with us, customers, team members, all of that. We're gonna pour into these people, and do they all stay? No, they don't. We're gonna give our all to a class, getting prepared, packing everything up, pre-profiling, doing all the work for the class, printing out the newest flip chart because it may have been a minute since we held one and we've done all this work and the class cancels at the last minute. You guys, life happens. People get sick. Our personal life happens. Families struggle. Things just happen. Things come up, and it's just we're all busy, and it's just part of the journey. But that part does not have to control our joy, and it does not have to control our success. And that is powerful to me and that is exciting to me. And so what I've realized is that when we don't compartmentalizing, we start personalizing, and not in a good way. Instead, what we do is we start saying, oh my gosh, a canceled party becomes I'm failing. This is somehow my fault. We take ownership of something that we have no business owning. A quiet week turns into maybe I'm not cut out for this. And a no at a career chat becomes I'm not meant to team build. That's not what I'm supposed to do. We take it as a sign. But those are just moments, they're not meanings. When we really learn and master the skill to emotionally compartmentalize, what you're doing is you're protecting your belief. Wouldn't you agree that that belief is one of the best things about Mary Kay? Like it creates, don't you love being around people who believe in you? Like that
Mhm.
makes you feel better, right? Well,
Right.
what if you believe in you the way that person you're thinking of right now believes in you? Like protect your own belief. You can keep your head up, your heart soft, and your business consistent even when things don't go your way. Promise. um, I promise. If I can, you can. I say. Um, but really, like we create this energy, whether it's a calm energy, an enthusiastic energy, we create an energy, and that energy, you want to be the energy that you want to attract, right? Um, so I'm gonna on kind of on that vein of energy and how it relates to leadership. Um, I think it's really important because your customers pick up on, your team picks up on and mirrors your energy. And so it's true, like your energy is either contagious, you either affect people or you infect them. So if you show up, no matter what's going on in your world, you show up calm, positive, solution focused. Your customers can mirror that, your team can mirror that. But if you're showing up and leading from a place of panic or a place of disappointment, that trickles down and it falls down on everybody. And it's really not fair to do to the people around you, right? So emotional compartmentalization, it's not selfish, it's leadership. It's saying, I can have my feelings, but I'll manage them in a way that serves others too. And I think that's taking the focus off of whatever the stress is in your life and saying, I'm going to be there and be there for the people that, how can I serve you? And I'm going to tell you the number of times that I have shown up in my Mary Kay business when I feel like most people would have canceled. Every single time I have felt better because of the connection I made with the person I met with, the people I was with. There was a blessing waiting in that moment. And had I canceled, I would have missed it. But instead, I chose to focus on that person and what can I do and to serve her. And that has made all the difference in the world for how I view my business. And when I say that Mary Kay is my happy place, that's what I mean. It's a very loaded statement for me because that is truly what it means. After 20 years, I've had my fair share of ups and downs in the business side, in my personal life. We've had tremendous loss in our family, and all of those things. Mary Kay has always been my happy place. It also helps in decision-making clarity. So when our emotions run wild, our decisions get a little cloudy. We might change our plan every week. We might lose confidence or talk ourselves out of an opportunity. Linda Tupin always says when emotions are high, logic is low. It's impossible for them to really be truly in balance. So, in a effective way. um, and so compartmentalizing lets you take a breath and ask three really important questions. The first one is, what is really happening? The second one, so what's really going on? Like, what's the crux of everything? The second one, sometimes it's an easy one and sometimes it's not. So, well, in the moment, it may seem like, well, duh. Sometimes it's a tough one. The second one is what is emotion and what is a fact for you? Because they're different. How you feel about something is not a fact. Facts are facts. Emotions are not feelings. Feelings are not facts, right? There's another Linda Tubin quote for you. What is emotion and what is fact? And then the third question, what is my next best step? What's the next best thing I can do to move forward from this situation? And that moment of clarity, that pause, can save you from burnout and from giving up too soon and allow you the joy of the blessing that God has waiting for us. Now, I do want to be very clear about what compartmentalization is not. It is not pretending that you're okay when you're not. It's not. Mary Kay Ash always taught us to balance heart and head. She said a company is only as strong as the hearts of its people, and that includes your heart. So this isn't about hiding your emotions, it's about honoring them at the right time. You can cry, you can vent, you can pray, but you do it after your appointment, not during them. Like you guys, I know I'm preaching to the choir here. We don't walk in and dump, right? We walk in, hi, how are you? What's going on? How are you? What's happening in your world, right? It is not about us during our appointments. If we were to walk into a meeting room, we used to do back in the dark ages when we get all dressed up and, you know, drive to the meeting and face rush hour traffic and do all that. Um, it's not about showing up in disarray to your professional appointment. Showing up and honoring your emotions at the right time, that's showing grace, that's professionalism. And those are when those two things are working together. Um, So here's the really big part. So I want you all to do this with me, okay? Pretend we're all sitting here in the same room, and I want you to take a really deep breath in, nice cleansing breath in, and just blow out the crazy of the day. We're going to do that 3 times. Ready? Deep breath in. Blow out the chaos of the day. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. There's something powerful in just pausing to do that, right? Um, Anybody else feel better, or is it just me? It does. It helps. It
Yeah.
helps. Okay, so how do we strengthen this skill? First things first, we're going to set business hours. That's in quotes, right? Business hours for our emotions. If you get bad news before an appointment, tell yourself, I am going to think about that tonight after dinner. Right now, I'm focused on serving my customer. This is going to protect your mindset in that moment. Okay? Sounds simple enough. I did not say it was easy. I said it's simple. And it takes practice. So I don't want you to think, oh, I got to do this the first time and be perfect at it. Nope. Perfection is highly overrated. And I am proof that we can recover from being perfectionists. Okay. So we're going to have business hours for our emotions. Okay. When we choose to handle them, then we're going to reset physically, like that deep breath exercise we just did, because our bodies hold our emotion. So before you go in for a class, like before you open the door if they're coming to you, before you get out of the car, take those 3 deep breaths, smile. On the way there, play your power song, play the music that really means something to you. Before you get in the car, before you open the door, consider how you're standing. Are you slumped over? Or are you standing with the Wonder Woman stance, hands on your hips, feet spread apart, shoulder width? There is a power that overcomes you when you do those 3 deep cleansing breaths. When you smile, you listen to music, and you stand like Wonder Woman. I'm telling you, these are this is the secret. All of this is the secret right here, right now. Um, Go get physical. This is how you process through some of these emotions. Go get physical. When you have that later time after dinner, go for a walk. Go get your vitamin D, get some fresh air, go to the gym, work out your frustration in a positive way. You cannot be in fear and gratitude at the same time. Your body's going to decide which one wins, but you get to steer it one way or the other. Um, So the third thing is we're going to reframe a setback. So when something doesn't go as planned, we're going to reframe it immediately. And if you don't know how, you're going to call one of your directors to help you reframe it. Okay. So she canceled becomes I got to reach someone new. I got time now. I can make some other calls. I can reach out and use this time to reach somebody else, to reach somebody new, the person that God actually had for me in this moment. She said no. She just made space for a yes, a real one. This was a slow month. Oh, this is my season of building character. Anyone been there? Some days I'm like, oh man, I got great character. It's really built. Could we maybe not build quite so much character? But have an outlet. Compartmentalization only works if you empty those compartments later. This is not about stuffing it away and in a locked box that you never open again. That doesn't work. I can tell you. That doesn't work either. What does work is taking the time to journal, taking some time to pray, calling your mentor, going for that walk, going to the gym, having that physical outlet because you cannot lead your customers, because that's what we do, right? We all are leaders. We are women, we are leaders. We lead in our homes, we lead our children, sometimes we lead our spouses, we lead we lead our customers. And if we have team members, then we lead our team members. And we cannot lead when our emotional bucket is so full, it's going to overflow. It's impossible. It has to be emptied regularly. That's different from a cup, right? The cup is good. We want the cup to be full, but we do not want that emotional. I kind of think of it, this is tacky, but I'm gonna say it anyway, because it's literally how I think of it. I think of it as like emotional vomit bucket. Like all that stuff that you just kind of have to get out of you, somehow you have to work it out, right? And so that bucket, when that's full, we are really not good for anybody else. We gotta go deal with that. But I love that I have the power to choose when I'm going to deal with it and how I'm going to deal with it. Because things can happen in life where you think, and I had this happen this past week, and somebody said to me, I just start thinking about the what ifs, and it's overwhelming. And my response was to that person was, it's not about the what ifs. It's about the I'm so grateful that. I'm so thankful that. We are so blessed because. And that's that reframing of things. And the only way that sometimes you can reframe it is to get rid of your vomit bucket. So, um, our customers, our team members, everybody's watching. Our kids, adult kids, little kids, all of them, they're watching how we respond to stress. And when we stay steady, we give them permission to do the same. When we fly off the handle and we lose our cool, and guilty sometimes, but they do the same thing. They model us. And so by giving them permission to stay calm in a situation, that's that's a really true strong influence, not just teaching skills, but teaching them how to be strong. And that, I think, is what we all want with our families, with our customers, with our team members. That's how we want things to be, right? We want people to be empowered, enriched, equipped, and empowered. That is my mission. It's always been my mission in Mary Kay. And so, modeling that steadiness and teaching the resilience by example is huge. So, um, let's take it just a minute. And I've shared a few things personally, but I want you guys to take just a minute and think about a time in life or in your Mary Kay journey that really hit you emotionally. Maybe it was a rejection, maybe comparison, which by the way, comparison is the thief of joy. Just so you know, that is my daughter Megan's favorite quote. Comparison is the thief of joy. And thank you, Mary Kay, for teaching her that. But think about a time where maybe you felt some rejection or felt less than because of comparison or discouragement. You got something in mind? I'm not going to ask you to tell me what it was, so don't worry, don't panic. I mean, you can tell me afterwards when it's not recording if you want to talk about something, but I'm not going to ask you. But I want you to go think about that time. And now imagine if you had taken a deep breath, boxed up that emotion, and said, you know what? I'm going to deal with this later. Right now, I'm showing up as my best self. How might that moment have turned out differently for you? How might that moment have turned out differently for your customers, your potential customers? Or maybe you did exactly what you should have done and it turned out great. Then that's something to celebrate, right? But this is the power that we already have. It's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. It's not about being perfect. If I could tell my younger self something, it would be that. Life is not about being perfect. It's not about getting straight A's. It's not about getting 100 on everything and then wondering if you don't, what happened to the other 2 points. Like, it's not. It is truly about being intentional with the people you're with in the moments you have with them. So, what's the payoff here? So, when you master this, literally everything changes. Everything. You figure out, everything's figure outable, right? You figure out that you can stay calm and confident through all kinds of challenges. I mean, I could stop there. That's enough, right? But you also stop taking rejection personally. Holy cow, what would that feel like if every time you reached out for a booking and somebody either ghosted you or said no, and you went, okay, and legitimately it did not hurt your feelings. Didn't hurt your feelings. Okay, it's not for you. Totally cool. That's amazing. Did it happen overnight for me? No, but it did happen because these are the things that I do on a regular basis. You bounce back faster. You remember the emotional wheel? If I'd found the picture, I would have put that on there. But the emotional wheel, or all the feelings wheel. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Um, and how we always talk about how quickly you move yourself through that wheel determines how you're feeling and how quickly you move through to what your next best step is. So when I say you bounce back faster, you move through that wheel faster and you protect your joy. It's that special sparkle, that thing that makes people want to work with you because every one of you has that. We all have it. They don't all look the same. The sparkle isn't always the same thing, but every one of you has something super special that makes you sparkle and stand out and that's why God has all the people for you and why we don't have to be in competition with each other because the people for Cynthia are not the people for me. The people for Lisa are not the people for Irma. And I love that. And vice versa. You'll find that we're not just, you guys already know this, but we're not just selling skincare. We're modeling emotional leadership, and that's magnetic, and people want that. So I think sometimes when we think about sharing the opportunity, we get really bogged down in some details that don't actually matter. Because I don't know a woman on the planet who doesn't want that kind of growth and that kind of feeling where they get to choose how they feel. Is that a thought that any of you had before starting Mary Kay, or tonight even, that you actually get to choose when you feel things and how you navigate through situations in life? I don't think it was something I thought before. So, you know, one of the first quotes I remember ever hearing was at a um, fall advance, and it must have been 20 years ago. It was Denise Kucharski's fall advance out in Wichita Falls, and it was the first time I heard this phrase that I know all of you have heard before. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you're right.
Yes.
Did that phrase ever irritate anyone else the way it irritated me? It bugged me because I did not understand how much power I had 20 years ago already within me that just wasn't honed. It was a skill that hadn't been learned. It was muscles that hadn't been flexed yet to understand how to protect my can, how to protect my belief. It takes effort. It doesn't just happen. We don't just fake it. That's another one I can't stand. Fake it till you make it. Uh-uh. There's nothing fake about me. Can't do that one. But emotional compartmentalization is how you can guard your I can. It's not about ignoring how you feel. It's about choosing when to feel it, how to deal with it. And it's how we stay grounded when business gets rocky, when life gets rocky, because both things happen. And sometimes both happen at the same time. And that really stinks. But it's how you lead with your heart and how you still stay strong is by figuring out how to do this. So the next time your emotions start to rise, just smile to yourself. Remind yourself, I'm not ignoring it, I'm managing it. It's not denial, it's your leadership and it's Mary Kay style. And when you get to a point when you can't compartmentalize on your own, because it does happen, you just hand that emotion to God because He'll hold it for you until you're ready. So I hope you guys found this helpful. It was it is something that I truly do use on a pretty regular basis. And the last couple weeks, I just realized how much I've been relying on it. And I thought, it's quite possible that maybe somebody else doesn't know all this yet. And so I thought I'd share. So you guys have any questions on this? Anything else? I told you we might finish early, but any questions on anything?
You did a good job with all of it.
Oh, oh,
And I think it's just a way, there's always a way to explain or um, talk about something in different ways, you know. So it just depends on how you perceive it, you know. And of course, we have to work on that
always,
always.
always. I wish I could say, oh, once you got it, and it's no big deal. Nope, it's still a big deal, and you still have to be really intentional with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it does become like a muscle that gets worked out, and it becomes easier.
Mm-hmm.
And I can think back to some fairly difficult times where what I think of first is not necessarily how I felt in the moment, but things that I recognized in my surroundings of people who were put in my path, who went out of their way. And what I end up feeling about some of these really negative times is really more feelings of gratitude because I've reframed it and I've rethought about, okay, what is my focus here? And and I think that that is something Taryn and I actually talk about that a fair amount in our you guys should be flies on the wall when we have a conversation. It's just the best.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it is something that we do. We talk about that and how thankful we are for the gifts that this business and that Mary Kay has given us to be able to navigate some really tough things and do it in a nice way where I
True.
don't know that 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I may have been more of a bull in a china shop. Shut up, Cynthia. She's like, mm-hmm. Because she's known me longer than that. But um, it's just, these are all just lessons that I have just been very thankful for. Anybody else have something that you guys want to share that was something that maybe you're thankful for, something you've learned as a part of being Mary Kay, whether it's business related or not? Actually, I'm going to stop the recording and then you guys can tell me.